everyone and welcome to Rajput Jain and Associates. Today in this video we will be discussing about FCRA and its registration procedure. First of all, it is important to know what exactly FCRA means. Foreign Contribution Regulation Act passed in 2010 was basically introduced for providing registration to charitable trusts, societies and Section 8 companies in order to accept foreign contributions and donations from abroad. There are basically two types of registration which can be issued under FCRA Act. These are prior permission registration and proper registration. Under the prior permission registration, entities who are either in the need of raising foreign contribution for a single time or where the entity is newly established and hence do not fulfill the criteria of 3 years can apply for prior permission registration on the fulfillment of certain criteria, such as the applicant shall provide a declaration that the said amount of donation shall be utilized only for the objects of the said entity. The applicant shall also provide complete details of foreign donor, including their name and address. And also, the applicant shall receive any amount of donation without obtaining such approval. The second type of FCRA registration is proper registration, which is applicable to entities receiving foreign contribution multiple times. Now, in order to be eligible for proper registration, the applicant shall fulfill the following criteria. First of all, the applicant shall have registered as a society under Societies Registration Act 1860 or as a trust under Indian Trust Act 1882 or as a Section 8 company under the Companies Act 2013. The applicant shall be working towards its objectives continuously for at least 5 years. During the past 3 years, the applicant must have spent at least 15 lakhs on their objectives, and the said amount shall be exclusive of administrative expenses. In order to receive the amount of foreign contribution, the applicant is required to open a foreign contribution bank account with SBI, Sunset Mark Main Branch, New Delhi, and all the foreign contributions shall be received and utilized from the above mentioned account only. Once the applicant fulfills the above mentioned criteria, they should be in receipt of some documents in order to initiate registration procedure. First is duly filled form FC8 in triplicate copy, then JPG file of signatory of chief functionary, then Darpan ID and Aadhaar number. In case if you do not have Darpan ID, then you can apply it on NITI-IO portal, that is ngodarpan.gov.in. Then annual report providing the details pertaining to the activities performed by entity during the last 5 years. Then the detail of respective beneficiaries along with their socio-economic factors of the region in which they reside and provide their service. Then list and geographical detail of each and every state and district in which the NGO is working and providing their service. Next is a self-certified copy of association registration certificate, trust deed, etc. Next is self-certified copy of appropriate pages of Memorandum of Association, Article of Association which describe the association's goals and objectives. Next is certified copies of registration issued under Section 8 of 80G and 12A for claiming exemption under the Income Tax Act. Next is copy of any prior permission received by the entity from FCRA authority. Next is copy of resolution by governing body of the organization which authorizes the NGO for registration under FCRA. Next is copy of power of attorney authorizing the chief functionary to represent their entity. Next is list of present members of governing body of the organization and the office bearers who are holding the office at the time of FCRA registration. If the association is having any parent or subsidiary organization which is registered under FCRA, then the registration number of such organization along with the Ministry of Home Affairs file number should be mentioned. Any application has been submitted before by the association, then its reference number should be mentioned. Details of any foreign contribution received with or without any prior approval of the central government. Then activity report during the last 3 years indicating details of activities. Also, duly audited statement of accounts for the last 3 years, which includes statement of assets and liabilities, receipt and payment, and income and expenditure that clearly indicate the expenditure incurred on association aim and objectives, as well as administrative expenses. Then, statement of income and expenditure for the last 3 years, duly audited by a chartered accountant, must be presented to verify that it satisfies the financial parameters. Having discussed about the documents required for registration process, we now come to FCRA registration process. Step 1. For this, the applicant is required to log into the FCRA online portal and then click on FCRA online form to register in FCRA. After this, select the application for FCRA registration link. The link will redirect to next page and then click to apply online button to apply for FC3. After this, log into portal using the user ID and password and click on the option I am applying for. Select FCRA registration from the drop down menu. Then provide all the association details and fill in the mandatory details like Darpan ID, address of association, registration number, place of registration, date of registration, nature of association, main aim of the association. Next comes the executive committee form. In this, enter all the details about executive committee and add details of key functionary. After this come the filing of EC detail and other. Fill in the required information and click on save after entering all the mandatory details of EC. Next come the details of bank account such as bank name, IFSC code, account number, address of the bank. Once whole form is completed, upload the required document in PDF format and click on final submission form menu bar. Once the form is submitted, a pop-up window will appear and the same will ask for the payment of requisite fees. After the submission of form, click on Make Online Payment button from the menu bar and then click on Continue for Payment button in the screen. After this, the site will redirect to the payment gateway and the applicant shall make payment using available options. Once the payment is done, the application will be forwarded for scrutinization purpose and if found correct, the FCRA registration will be granted to the applicant. After having discussed about the procedure of FCRA registration, now we come to the validity and renewal of FCRA registration. FCRA registration is valid for a period of 5 years from the date of issuance. Thus, the FCRA registration is required to be renewed within 6 months before the expiry of registration certificate. However, where the renewal is not to be done within the prescribed time period, then the registration will cease to exist and organization will not be eligible for further receipt and utilization of foreign contribution. So this was all about FCRA, its eligibility requirements and process for registration. For any other query, please contact Rajput Jain and Associates. You can also visit our website www.carajput.com. Thank you.